Welcome to today's introduction to annotation. We'll be talking about annotation. Let's get right into it. So what is it? Annotation is the process of taking notes and interacting with the text while you're reading in order to better understand what you are reading. We all can relate to the moment we've read something, either a paragraph or a page or even just a question, and we can't even remember what we read, or we got distracted and we couldn't focus, or it was too confusing, whatever the reason. Active reading is underlining, highlighting, interacting with the text while you read to ask questions or make connections. And it helps you remember what you read, number one, but also to think about what you're reading while you're reading it. Let's take a look at the benefits. How can annotation help you? Why even bother? Well, whenever you have to read in math, if there's a word problem, in science, in U.S. history or global, or obviously ELA when you're reading fiction and nonfiction, when you're reading something that is confusing, this strategy can help you understand what you're reading and find something to use, find something to focus on that makes sense. You'll also become a better reader, a more efficient reader. And you won't just be reading to comprehend, but you'll also be reading to sort of think about how you understand what you're reading, or how the person that is writing, the speaker or the narrator, is trying to get you to think, right? So you can pick up on these things when you're reading interactively. You can expand your vocabulary, all right, which would also expand your knowledge and your knowledge in whatever subject that you're working on. Which watch your grades soar. So you recognize these symbols because we've all used talking with the text strategies, and it's a very simple way to just leave little marks in the text while you're reading so that you can not stop and just get all the way to the end and then go back and say, oh, here's something I liked, or here's where I had a question, or here's where I agreed. So these are great strategies to use while you're reading, all right? These are great strategies. Keep using them. Great introductory methods to getting comfortable with writing things down while you're reading, kind of doing two things at once, okay? So we're just going to take it to the next level. We're going to continue to use all these comments that you're familiar with, okay? But it's a little bit easier of a way, a little more effective, and I think maybe even a little bit more quicker, because my problem was I couldn't draw. I didn't want to draw those symbols, and there were just other styles that I picked up in college classes that I was taking, both as an undergrad and a grad student. So these are just strategies that I've seen and used. Okay, just underlining, highlighting, circling, maybe making arrows or drawing lines to make connections in between notes you've put in the margin and certain sections of text. Okay, so it's just an interactive way of keeping track of things while you're reading. And it works the same way. While you're reading, you just want to underline and highlight things that seem important. And when you get done, you can go back and double check those areas that you've underlined and highlighted and ask yourself, why did I underline it? Why is it important? The comment in the margin, that is the most important aspect of annotation. That's the main focus of today's little presentation. So whether you're using smiley faces or drawing an eye, or if you're just underlining and highlighting to mark spots in the text where you can visualize or where you can make connections, however you do it while you're working through a text, you want to always remember to leave comments in the margin about what and why you highlighted or underlined or circled. So that part of the text that you took the time to mark, you want to put a little note in the comment in the margin there about why you did it. This way, when you go back, you'll know exactly what to review. So this is what to look for, and this is how it can help you. While you read, okay, difficult words you do not understand, highlight and underline, and then you can reference those words later if you need to look them up or not, or maybe you just Googled it and you put some notes in the margin just to help you move through the text to understand. All right, you've got key terms and concepts, ideas, okay, maybe answering questions. There's details or relevant themes that you're looking for. Could be questions you have. All right, different parts of the text you don't understand, or it could be one small thing. What does this symbol mean? Why is it significant? Many times a teacher will give you things to focus on, study questions or response questions. Maybe you make connections to what you're reading, nonfiction articles or something that you've been through, you've experienced, and so you have an understanding. Maybe you take some notes on that while you're reading. Or maybe you're just looking to agree or disagree. All right, so let's look real quick and just summarize what effective annotations look like. When you go back to review, you'll know what and where to focus if you've underlined and highlighted and commented. The comments can show your thinking to your teacher as well, and kind of demonstrate that you understand the text, you understand the information, you understand the direction. All right, effective annotations can show all of this. All right, so let's remember, here are some things you want to avoid doing. Do not highlight the whole entire text. Many times I've had students read an essay that's a page long and they've highlighted 75% of the text. All right, that's not going to be effective. That's too much. When you go back and look at it, you'll say, I don't know what I just highlighted everything. I don't know why I highlighted this. So if you can highlight small sections and leave those notes in the margin, when you go back to review, you'll see it'll be much more effective, much more easier for you to get refocused and remind yourself of whatever it is that you're reviewing or studying. So don't focus on things that are irrelevant. Many times we'll have students, we're reading short stories and they'll annotate and say, well, this person is from Minnesota and is 14. Okay, well, there's maybe many other details that were more significant than those small details about how old a person is or where they're from. Sometimes that may be important, but a lot of times we want to try to dig deeper and annotate for that higher order understanding, that higher order comprehension. Okay, if you're reading through text and you find it to be very confusing and you don't understand, if you just can't even leave a question, move on to the next part. Focus on what does make sense to you. Think about what the teacher is asking you to look for. Go back and look at those study questions or talking points again and focus on the parts of the text that make sense. Don't waste your time where you just absolutely have no idea. Mark it, underline it, highlight it, ask a question, and move on to the next part. And lastly, but the most important, is don't forget to comment. Don't just highlight or underline or circle. Make sure you leave notes in the margin so when you go back to review, you understand what it is you're looking for, what it is you're reviewing, or what you thought at the time, or what parts were the most important. Okay, so there you go. That's the end of our slideshow. And next, what I'd like to demonstrate is how to annotate using Microsoft Word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my creative writing class and I'm going to look for an assignment that the teacher uploaded here. And let's see. Okay, so it's this assignment which was based on this poem, The Road Not Taken. And you can see that the teacher embedded the assignment into the Canvas page. So there's no way here that I can annotate. There are no options. All right, so hopefully, okay, what we usually do in my creative writing and my English classes is we'll upload those documents into files. So let's see if we can open it today. There we go. So if I go into files, now I can see that here it is. Here's the poem that I'm looking for, the one the teacher asked me to annotate. And remember, this is just an example of how you can annotate using Microsoft Word. So when I open up the document, what I want to be able to do is download it. And when I download it, I can, this new little window, this tab down here in the bottom will pop up. So I'm going to click on that. And now I have the text in front of me. So I will click Enable Editing. And now I want to click on Review. This is the tab that I want where it says New Comment. And I'll show you how we can use this. So let's focus on the first stanza. And it says, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So right off the bat, I know here that I have some important information. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to use this yellow option, that yellow highlighter there. And then I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and leave a comment, because I know why I highlighted it right when I highlighted it. the speaker is looking at two different roads. I know this because of this word diverged, but maybe that word is confusing to you. Well, here's a little trick. Highlight the word and then underline it. You can see now I've marked the vocab that I don't know because maybe I'm confused about the word diverge. So I'm going to highlight it again. Here's the little trick. Right click on the word. Let's go down to synonyms here. Which ones do I understand? I know what it means to wander. I know what it means to depart. So that one makes sense to me. And if I go two roads depart, well, that I think it means like they're moving apart from each other. So I'm going to go ahead and comment and just write diverge means to move apart. Two roads moving apart from each other. Now these comments are for me, right? Not these comments are for me to remember, to go back, and when I review, I can remember this is the message I think the speaker is trying to give me here in this first stanza. So you can see how I've highlighted and I've underlined. All right. And if I fast forward, again, I can highlight this word sigh. I could change the color. Maybe that's a word that I know, and I think it's important to the overall meaning of the text. And I could say, this means a sigh of relief or a sigh of regret. Okay, so now I've left a couple comments here. All right, did that highlight for me? Let's change the color. I don't think that showed up too well. All right, maybe when I leave the comment. All right, well, at least the comment marks it there. Okay, so this is just a very simple way that you can use Microsoft Word to leave comments, to highlight, to underline, and show the teacher that you've worked through a text, to show the teacher what you think about the text. Have fun annotating.